The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Doak Propane, the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Shelter Insurance, Vision Media, KICK Radio, and Great Southern Bank. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, along with Shelter Insurance, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going about 180 miles due north of the studio here to Higbee High School and Higbee Tiger head coach Tanner Burton. Coach Burton, thanks so much for your time today.
We appreciate you having us on.
Coach, 15-7 finish a year ago, a Final Four berth, 15-0 already this season. Sounds like everything's going well for Higbee right now.
Yeah, we're definitely headed in the right direction, and we've got some really young talent. So there's a lot of expectations, and I think right now they've lived up to every expectation in front of them, which is pretty exciting.
As you look coming into the season, looking at what you had to replace last year due to graduation, what were those spots in your roster that you had to kind of fill in and get some folks to fill in for?
Well, fortunately for us, it was just one senior, Keaton Redifer. He averaged about 14 and a half a game. Long, lanky, athletic guy, played in the middle of our 1-3-1 zone. And so fortunately, everybody was kind of a grow-up, step-up mentality. We had a young man that played here as a freshman, transferred back. He had been at Battle the last 2 years, and so he's kind of helped own some of that role. And then we had, our 6, 7, and 8 guys are all they're still juniors and sophomores, and they've stepped up and owned some minutes. And so it's just been kind of a collective thing that everybody's just stepped up their game a little bit and owned their roles and continue to evolve. And that's a pretty impressive thing.
Coming into this year and looking at your schedule, going to the Final Four a year ago, kind of knowing where you're located there, how hard is it to kind of fill a schedule knowing that you guys are going to be talented coming back? And what's the bus rides been like?
Well, it's been a change. We joined a new conference, and so it's a bigger conference. And so when we did that, we had to knock off opponents. And so unfortunately, they were some of the opponents were maybe a higher caliber teams to fill the new conference. And then you add 2-hour bus rides in on the mix. And so it was a challenge. We did get to go and play in KC at the 12 Courts of Christmas. And I'll be honest, I spent preseason reaching out to coaches. Most of the teams in the Class 1 state rankings that were people that weren't projected to be in our path to the Final Four. We kind of reached out to them to see if we could get them, and did get a lot of traction. And so it was one of those things that you got to play what you're dealt, and we're just moving forward with that, and we've done well. And so it's just a matter of you've got what you got, and you got to own it.
Again, visiting with Higbee Tigers head basketball coach Tanner Burton. Coach Burton, tell a little bit about kind of your background. How long have you been the head coach there? Where did you kind of cut your teeth at, and what was your trip or your travel to get to this destination?
So ironically, I played 1 year of high school basketball under Matt Heat, who's the girls coach over at Hallsville now. I played my senior year. Then I got a bachelor's degree in business, went that route, decided my wife pushed me to chase my passion of coaching. And I went and got 3 education degrees, and I ended up starting here at Higbee. Jordan's dad, Jamie, is our AD, and he gave me the opportunity to coach here while I worked in the business world. Decided to turn everything upside down, give it all up, and make less money and chase my passion. And I've been the girls varsity and junior high coach for the last 9 years, and I've been the varsity boys coach for the last 4 years. And that is my experience outside of coaching junior little league basketball. So it's been a heck of a ride, and really fun in a small town. And I think you've seen the whole town embrace it and grow and evolve, and it's been really exciting for us.
What are the challenges coaching 2 varsity sports in the same season?
Well, it's really good right now when you're like, I don't know, what are we, 28-2? So right now it's real easy. You're living the dream. Some years it's tougher. The boys, we were 4-4 win team, 11 win team, won 19 last year. So they had some growing pains. The girls the last 2 years have been 8 and 9 win teams. And so they've had some 20-win teams we had earlier in my career. And so it's one of those things. It's a balancing act. It's a juggling act. But to be honest with you, it's probably better for the players because at times we kind of trim down practice. We have more film sessions. We do a little bit more of the behind the scenes stuff that maybe I was losing when it was just one team and I focused all my energy on let's practice. And now it's, we need to take care of ourselves a little more and kind of be more students of the game. And I think that's really helped our programs evolve.
Well, with regards to this interview, part of our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week segment, Jordan Fuemeller alongside there's a sophomore. Tell us a little bit about this young man and had a big night this week.
Yeah, Jordan's had a lot of big nights in his career, and he's only a sophomore, so that's pretty impressive. Jordan's dad, Jamie's our AD, and he's coached Jordan and a group of these sophomore boys since they were little bitty, and you can tell there's been a lasting impact that these kids really have a high basketball IQ. You can tell he's the son of a coach, and Jamie coached here for a while and had a lot of success, and you can see that in Jordan. Jordan's a great young man, high-character kid, and he really just takes care of himself. He'll do whatever's asked of him. I know last year we were in a tough stretch, and he pumped out all kinds of assists the next game because I kind of challenged him to do things, and that's what he does. Jordan can do anything. He's had a triple-double or two. He's, had 11 assists, 10 assists, 11 assists in games. I mean, the kid just does it all, and he does it in stride, and he's really efficient. And that's the best part about it is no matter who we're playing, the kid's really efficient from the field. And when you have that from a sophomore, that sets the bar really high for when you exit this program. There's really high expectations,
You bet. Well, Jordan, thanks for your time this morning as well.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And on behalf of the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, congratulations, Athlete of the Week. But tell us about that night the other night. I believe, 35 points. Just go through those stats. And what do you remember about that game?
Whenever we came to the game, I think we were a little too overconfident coming into it, and we were playing a little too loose. We needed to cut down on turnovers, and we got off to a slow start. I mean, we were up by about 15 at halftime, and Derek, Rocket teammate, went down with an injury, and I went, need to step up right here, and I didn't think I had 35 until I saw after the game. I was thinking like 20, but I had to do what I had to do to get the win, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Coming into your sophomore year, Jordan, and again we're visiting with Jordan Fuemeller, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week. But coming into this season, did you have any personal goals or team goals that you set for yourself, and have you reached some of those at this point?
I really didn't have a lot of personal goals. I just wanted to play as good as I could possibly play. But I did have a lot of team goals. I wanted to, make the Final Four again. Something like that it meant a lot to me last year. It was a lot of fun. So I wanted to relive that again. And winning districts would be a huge accomplishment this year. We got some good teams in there this year.
As you look at your schedule, and I'm, I do this with every time I get a preview or go to Michigan, I look at the schedules. There's always games that I'll kind of check off. Hey, I'm going to try and be here. As a player, do you look at your schedule at the beginning of the year and look forward to certain games? Are there games on your schedule you can't wait to get in the gym for?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just going to Kansas City to play Grundy, that was a fun experience. And now playing St. E on February 5th, we just added that game, so now I got that to look forward to. So those have been the two I've looked forward to the most.
Yeah. What as you look at your experience last year going to the Final Four, you face a South Iron team that I would imagine is probably going to be back, and Dusty Dinkins played in a facility in college. It's just maybe a 9-iron from my house where I'm sitting here in my studio. What was that experience like last year, and what are you going to have to do to get back to it?
The experience, I mean, we walked into that gym, and I mean, it was overwhelming. The environment was incredible, and I don't think we were quite prepared for that. I think we were more admiring everything than ready to come and play basketball. And I think with more experience this year, we only lost one. I think everybody got the mentality that we want to go in and win this year.
Outstanding. And going back to Coach Burton, and again, we're visiting with Higbee Tigers head coach Tanner Burton and our Athlete of the Week, Jordan Fuemeller. And Coach Burton, as you look at what you've got coming up on your schedule, you're nearly 2/3 of the way through your regular season. What have you got left in front of you that you're excited about?
Well, we got Bramer on Friday night for senior night and homecoming, and that's our court warming. That's always a big night, and so you want to do well. That's a conference opponent. Next week, if all the cards fall right, we get a shot at Wellsville. It's a district opponent, and they, were real close to knocking off Salisbury to taking a trip to the Final Four last year, and we lost to them by 3-7 last year. And they're a district opponent, so we could see them in the Keatsville Tournament Championship. You got a couple more conference games. Like Jordan said, we're going to play St. E in a rematch of the third place game of the Final Four last year. We're going to play them in Harrisburg. So that's a big one. And then you have the conference tournament. And, we've been fortunate to beat Minden twice at their place, and we beat Hardin Central at third place, and they're both 10-win teams or so. And so beating teams a second or third time could be tough. And then obviously you got districts, and you got to be locked and loaded for that. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, and I'd be lacking in my duty here if I didn't ask you about the girls' side, what you've got coming up and what your expectations are there.
Yeah, the girls, they're an interesting group. I don't think anybody expected them to shoot off like they did. We've got a pretty talented freshman in Ronnie Welch that's had a couple triple-doubles. She's averaging most of triple-double. Pretty solid athlete, and she really helped us change. Defensively, we own it. And, for them to be 13-2 is impressive. They lost to a Meadville team, fourth game of the season, starting 3 freshmen, and you kind of take one to the chin a little bit, and you see, okay, all right, this is varsity basketball, and we lost a tough one to Tyne Avalon here, 2 quality teams. And then we've kind of made a little run lately. I think we're 7 or 8 wins in a row. We got Bramer that's going to be a tough opponent for us Friday night, and then you got a good run that we could make here in the next couple of weeks. So really, the youths owned it. Kids have stepped up and owned roles. We've really adjusted our style this year, and it's been impressive to see kids just embrace the fact that if you own your role, you can be pretty special, and I think they got that from the boys. I told a lot of people I thought the girls may have a bigger impact on their season seeing that ride to the Final Four than maybe the boys, because the boys now own it, feel it, want it. The girls were sidelined for it, and now the expectations have skyrocketed, and I think they put in a lot more work in the offseason to make sure they're out there competing at a high level and filling the stands. We don't like when your stands fill up 10 minutes before the boys' game, And so now this season they're full. People are getting here at 4 o'clock for a 6 p.m. tip off to make sure they got seats, and that's pretty special in a small town. And so just doing things the right way, and we've got young talent for years to come on the girls' side. So they're going to be pretty fun to watch in the years ahead.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And you mentioned early on in the interview about a new conference. Kind of handicap that a little bit. Who came in? Who are you involved with now?
So we were in a conference, the CCAA, and I think we were down to 5 schools total because of co-ops and stuff. And so longevity-wise, it made sense for us to make a move. And so now we go considerably west. We were the furthest east team. So we go over to Breckenridge, Bramer, Norburn, Hardin Central, Brunswick, Keatsville are relatively close, Tyne Avalon, Hale, Minden. And so we're going really west. I mean, I think when we went to Kansas City to Higbee Arena, that experience was about 30 minutes longer than some of our longest bus rides. And so that tells you a lot. It's a lot of hours on the bus. And I think that's a big adjustment for the kids is how do you handle it? And it's been a good experience. And we're excited about having that opportunity where you've got to compete with 10, 12 schools to win something. It makes it a little more special.
And again, Jordan, congratulations on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and a big night for you. And I'm sure we'll get to visit with you guys again and look forward to it. But I greatly appreciate you guys being generous with your time. I know it's a school day, and we got through this whole thing without a message from the office or a bell going off.
That's too easy, really.
You bet. You bet. Well, Jordan, thank you. And Coach Burton, thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
You bet. You're listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Keep it right here. We'll be here all day.